Good morning. I'm here with Sara Goodburn, candidate for Shawnee Mission School Board. On behalf of the Johnson County Public Policy Council, thank you, Sara, for being here today.
You're welcome.
The Johnson County Public Policy Council is made up of 10 chambers of commerce in Johnson County. Our goal is to provide information about public policy issues impacting area businesses. You ready to get started?
Sure.
So, as a candidate, what are your top 3 policy issues?
Well, with the district, my top 3 issues would be our new strategic plan. And our new strategic plan has just been adopted by the board in June. We worked on it all last year with a huge committee with the district, and we just adopted that in June of 19. And so for me, seeing that plan come to life because it was formulated really by the opinions and wants and needs of not only educators, but community members, students were involved in that. We had lots and lots of participation through a survey, and all of those things were gathered together, and this strategic plan was put in place. And so it's a 5-year plan, and seeing that come to life is really one of my top priorities for the school district, for the school board. Second would be student and staff wellness, and we're getting actually a report tonight at the school board meeting on wellness. But I think focusing on student wellness initiatives like vaping, the vaping crisis we're going through right now, mental health initiatives for student and staff mental health, and working on that as well. And then my third one would be experiential learning for students, so helping with the workforce and getting the students not only a high school degree but also experiential learning experiences on the job would be really my 3 priorities.
The Kansas Supreme Court recently ruled the current school funding formula is both equitable and adequate. However, the court retained jurisdiction over the case to assure the funding is maintained.
Sure.
Briefly, what are your thoughts on the new formula and the additional dollars that have been added to the K-12 school funding?
Well, I was really pleased to see that the current funding formula, that it passed the test of equity and adequacy. I was really pleased. I was also very pleased, though, that the court did retain that jurisdiction, because we've known in the past that those promises have been broken through times of economic downturn. The legislature decided not to appropriate the funds that were needed for schools. So I'm glad they retained the jurisdiction, and I'm glad that we have the current funding coming in, the increased funding coming in throughout the state. That being said, we have other things that we need to worry about now. We have that funding in place, and hopefully, since the court has maintained jurisdiction, it's a good thing. But we have things like the high density at-risk weighting that is going to sunset at the end of the school year, which could mean a lot of money that could be lost by districts. But in Shawnee Mission, it means about $1 million that we could lose. So we have to always be in Topeka and advocating on behalf of our students, and that would be one thing. And I would think that also our additional dollars that we have gotten in Shawnee Mission, we've used for staff increases, not only in the amount of staff, but also in compensation for our staff, as well as being able to handle things like increases that happen like in our normal budgets, like for utilities, transportation costs, healthcare costs, and those kind of things. So it has helped, but we need to stay ever vigilant.
And with the recent ruling by the Supreme Court that the new funding formula and related funding are constitutional, it's likely the legislature will look closely at accountability measures for student performance. Can you describe the accountability measures you support and believe are reflective of student achievement?
Right. Well, I am a strong believer in student assessment data. So that being said, the Kansas assessment that we give our students. However, it's not the only measure. It kind of used to be the only measure, but now I support more whole child, student-focused assessment, using those things like the Kansas Department of Education has come up with the Kansas CAN vision. So looking more at not only student assessment data, which we do, the district currently uses not only Kansas assessments, but also our MAP data that we get twice a year that really looks at student progress throughout the year. And additionally, we also have ACT data that we look at. So, but we need to look at other things too, like Kansas has proposed or is doing now, like social emotional learning. So a whole child approach, and graduation rates, post-secondary success, post-secondary education success rates for a district. You have things like kindergarten readiness, and also the individual plan of studies that the Kansas Department of Education is having us do for all the students now. And that really goes along with our strategic plan, which is supporting individualized, personalized learning for children. So I support all of those things and really taking more of a whole child approach as opposed to just looking at one set of data, one day that you give a child one test, one day. So more a broad approach to looking at all sorts of different measures.
Kansas is experiencing all-time low unemployment rates, and employers are struggling to find qualified workers, especially in technical and skilled trades. How do you see the Shawnee Mission School District helping to meet our business community's future workforce needs through technical education and training?
We've already done a little bit of that, and then a specific example would be Project Blue Eagle that we did. Now, that actually came out of a real need when we were talking with our area cities, city governments. They had a real need for students wanting to go into the police and fire and emergency services. And so that whole program was really created out of a need in the community, and it's been wildly successful. So we have a lot of signature programs that actually give those real-world experiential learning and experiences to our students, like all of our different signature programs that we do, but we can do more. And the most exciting part of it is that we are partnering with the Kauffman Foundation, a part of a grant, to really look at those, what they call market value assets. So the theory is that not only a high school degree, it's really important for kids to get a high school degree, but they also need to leave high school with a market value asset, which would be something to the either an industry accreditation, an industry certificate, some real-world experience on-the-job training, like our signature programs really give them that real-world training. I mean, some of our students in our biomed or biomed can leave with a CNA. And that's what we're talking about, that market value asset. So and then also with we do a really good job too with giving kids that market value asset with having college credit. So leaving school with either actually college credit or college now credit. In our IB program, different things like that. So I would say I'm really excited about this Kauffman grant though, because right now we do it with a limited amount of our students, and so it's growing that system wide, and that's what our team is really looking at with the district. The team is there's a whole committee looking at that and writing that grant proposal. We're in the first year of it and writing that, and so that's going to be really exciting to see. And I think that will really, having students leave with that experiential learning will really help to grow that workforce.
And then, other than funding, what do you see as the greatest challenge facing the district?
I think probably our achievement gaps that we do have with, we talk about all students, and right now when you look at some of our achievement data, we need to see all students performing at equal levels. And so really attacking that. I think we've done a really great job with really helping our students, especially ones that might be experiencing problems with homelessness or food, problems at home, those social, emotional, and socioeconomic factors that they're dealing with at home. And we have all sorts of programs that are really helping those students to succeed, and relationships matter. And so I think that it is the greatest thing. We need to see that data really. We need to see improved data, improved student outcomes.
Sara, as we wrap up, tell us why you're seeking public office.
Well, I'm a product of the Shawnee Mission School District. I actually graduated from Shawnee Mission South back in '82. My husband and I have lived in the area my whole life, but my husband and I have lived specifically in the north area in Roland Park for 30 years. Both of my kids have graduated from Shawnee Mission North recently. And I just care a lot about this district. I care a lot about our community in Roland Park, Johnson County, and the state of Kansas. I care about kids. And I think that it's vitally important to support public education in the state of Kansas and our community. And I have experience at this. I'm seeking my third term on the board. I have experience. And I think that I am an independent, nonpartisan member of the board that's consensus building, and I believe that we truly need that on our school board for success of the system and as well as our students. So that's why I'm seeking my third term on the board, and I'm happy to do it.
Well, we thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning, and we wish you the best of luck with the election.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.